I am filing this report under compulsion of the Joint Maintenance Compact, Article 31, which requires a Druathi facility inspector to document any incident in which a certified contractor produces a repair outcome that the facility's own engineering staff could not. I want to note, for the record, that I find Article 31 deeply unpleasant to invoke. I am invoking it anyway. The Compact requires it. I have never once in my career been grateful for the Compact's requirements. I am not grateful now. The human arrived at Orbital Platform Keth-Savar on the 43rd day of the resonance fault. Her name was Mavi Lund. She was a civilian contractor, third-tier certification, registered with the Outer Reach Maintenance Guild under a standard 72-hour response agreement. She was small, even by human proportions. A detail I mention only because the Druathi engineering staff mentioned it repeatedly, in my presence, as though it were a relevant technical variable. She carried 2 bags. One contained what I can only describe, with painful accuracy, as a collection of hand tools that appeared to have been assembled over several decades from whatever was available at the time. The other bag contained a thermos. The chief engineer of Keth-Savar, Meth Das, logged her arrival in the facility incident record as follows. Contractor, human, Lund, M, arrived 0640 station time. Equipment assessed as pre-analytic, proceeding as a courtesy under compact obligation. Do not anticipate meaningful contribution. I am also filing that log as Exhibit A. The resonance fault had begun on day 1 of the current maintenance cycle. It presented as a harmonic deviation in the primary coupling array, a 0.4003 frequency drift that our diagnostic architecture flagged, corrected, confirmed as resolved, and then found again, in the same location, 4 hours later. It did this on a cycle. Flag, correct, confirm, recur. Every 47th hour, without variation. The Druathi engineering staff, 11 certified technicians, 3 of whom held senior array qualification, had spent 6 weeks rebuilding the diagnostic suite from first principles, replacing 4 coupling segments, recalibrating the harmonic sensor array twice, and filing 31 incident reports, the last of which concluded, and I am quoting directly, "Fault origin is indeterminate under current analytical frameworks." That is a phrase I had never seen in a Druathi engineering document before. I hope to never see it again. The compact required us to bring in an outside contractor when internal resolution was not achieved within 30 days. We had extended the internal resolution window twice, which is the maximum permitted under Article 12. On day 42, I filed the contractor request. I requested a senior specialist from the Vethali Engineering Cooperative, which has a strong institutional reputation and uses diagnostic tools compatible with our own. What I received, 47 hours later, was Mavi Lund. She walked through the facility with Meth Das, who gave her the full engineering briefing. The briefing is 14 minutes long. She did not take notes. She asked no questions. She looked at the coupling array for some time. She looked at the sensor manifold. She looked at the readout terminal displaying the current diagnostic status. Then she said, "Okay," and went to find a place to sit down. This is not standard contractor behavior under Druathi facility protocol. Meth Das filed a supplementary log entry at 0820 the same morning. Contractor appears to be resting. Unclear if contractor has understood the briefing. Query whether compact obligation is satisfied by contractor presence alone or requires active engagement. Seeking clarification from Joint Maintenance Registry. She was not resting. I established this later. She was watching the array. She did this for 2 days. She drank from the thermos. At intervals, she would walk to the array and look at it from a different angle, or crouch down and look at something on the underside of the coupling housing, or stand very still and appear to be listening. She did not use the diagnostic suite. She did not request access to our engineering logs. She did not ask Meth Das a single question, which Meth Das logged as discourteous in the facility record, and which I have also included as Exhibit B, because the compact requires complete documentation, and I am nothing if not thorough. On the morning of the 3rd day, she opened the bag with the hand tools. What followed is difficult to describe, in terms that map cleanly onto Druathi engineering categories, because she did not appear to be using an engineering category. She removed a tool I later identified, after significant research, as a device for measuring surface resonance through direct physical contact. A probe, essentially, that returned information through sensation rather than a digital readout. She ran it along the coupling housing for approximately 20 minutes, very slowly, in a pattern I could not immediately identify as systematic. Then she stopped. She put the probe down. She took a different tool out of the bag, something with a long handle and a calibrated head, the specific classification of which I will include in Appendix C, and she used it to make a single adjustment to a mounting bracket on the underside of the secondary coupling joint. The adjustment took, by my count, 4 minutes and 11 seconds. Then she put the tools away and refilled her thermos from a water line near the access hatch. Meth-Orak-DOS had been watching from the observation platform. I know this because I was watching from the observation platform as well, and Meth-Orak-DOS was standing 2 meters to my left. Neither of us said anything. We watched the diagnostic readout. It flagged the resonance deviation, ran its correction cycle, confirmed resolution, and then, for the first time in 43 days, did not find the fault again 4 hours later. We waited the full 47-hour cycle. We waited another cycle after that, because Meth-Orak-DOS said, formally, in my presence, that a single clean cycle was within the range of anomalous behavior we had already observed, and a second clean cycle would be more statistically meaningful. This is technically true. It is also true that neither of us wanted to write the report that would be required if the cycle came back clean on the first pass. The second cycle came back clean. Mavi Lund signed her contractor completion form on day 45 and left on the morning shuttle. She did not ask for any of our engineering documentation. She did not explain what she had found or how she had found it. She said, to me, on her way out, the bracket was letting the housing torque about 2 microns under load cycle. Your sensors were reading the correction as the source. They were right and wrong at the same time. Then she picked up her bags and left. I have spent some time thinking about that phrase, right and wrong at the same time. Our diagnostic architecture was correctly reading a resonance deviation, and correctly applying a correction, and correctly confirming the correction. It was reading a symptom as a cause, because the symptom recurred with enough regularity that it fit our category for a primary fault. The underlying cause was a bracket that moved by 2 microns, a figure below the threshold of our sensor suite, detectable, as far as I can determine, only by a probe that returns information through physical sensation to a hand that knows what 2 microns of torque drift feels like. We do not have a diagnostic entry for that. We do not have a sensor that works that way. We have not needed one, because our engineering systems have been internally consistent long enough that we stopped anticipating the category of problem our own systems could not see. I am not drawing broad conclusions from this incident. I am an inspector, not a philosopher. I am simply documenting what occurred. As the compact requires, the facility incident record has been updated. The 31 previous reports have been closed as superseded. A new entry, number 32, reads as follows. Resonance fault resolved. Day 45. By contractor Lund. M method employed. Direct tactile resonance survey. Manual bracket adjustment. Secondary coupling joint. Housing underside. No diagnostic framework applicable. Fault has not recurred. I added one line to that entry myself, under the inspector's notation field. It took me some time to settle on the right wording. It reads, recommend expanding contractor pre-qualification criteria to include guild certification tier below current minimum threshold. Rationale on file. The rationale is this report. The report is, I recognize, not comfortable reading for a Druathi engineering facility. I am filing it anyway. The compact requires it. Meth-Orak-DOS's do not anticipate meaningful contribution notation has not been amended. I am leaving it in the record. Article 31 requires documentation. It does not require anyone to feel good about it.